What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Arc channel. My name is Jay, and I'm here to give you some updated news, not regarding cryptocurrency, but basically it affects cryptos as well. But this is massive, massive news, and it does affect a lot of people, mainly in North America. But you know, there's a ripple effect to this. Now, before I start, I just want to say that nothing I say is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am just merely documenting my journey in the evolution of money. So keep that in mind. Do your own research. All right. So here is the main topic for today, or this video. Cyber attack of world's largest meat supplier, JBS, disrupts beef and pork production. Now, this isn't the first time that cyber attacks occurred this year. The previous one that was massive is the U.S. pipeline. Of course, that affected the whole crude oil price as well as the ability to buy gas at a lower price. And of course, you saw like a whole bunch of people lining up for just to get gas. Anyways, moving forward, this is about food this time and not about gas. And that is definitely a very important issue because everyone needs food to eat, you know? So, if the meat industry gets affected, well, not only will the meat prices go up, but a lot of people are definitely going to, get their hours reduced. If their hours are reduced, that means less pay. And yes, that is going to definitely affect them and their family. So let's figure out what happened here. So thousands of workers at meat processing plants in the United States, Canada, and Australia had their shifts canceled on Tuesday after a cyber attack crippled the world's largest meat processing company. So there shows you right there, guys, that it's just more than the Western continent that got affected. Australia got affected as well. So this company definitely does have a global influence. All right, so JBS USA said in a statement from Greeley, Colorado on Monday that it was the target on Sunday of an organized cybersecurity attack affecting some of its servers supporting its North American and Australian IT systems. Now, keep in mind these IT systems are centralized, like they only belong in certain places. And this whole narrative, guys, the cybersecurity, it just leads towards the push to decentralization. But of course, they're not going to say that right away. They're going to make the narratives. They're going to push everyone. They're going to create the problem first, wait for the reaction, and the solution is, of course, decentralization. But we're not going to know how they're going to piece that together in order for us to really find out. We're going to have to just basically watch the story unfold because all these different events, guys, are engineered. They're not natural. It's just certain things are like highly predictable. It's not even a coincidence anymore that things happen. Once you start seeing the patterns, it's like when something happens, it's like, oh, I'm not surprised. I bet you the next one's going to be this. And then, to be honest, man, when it comes to cyber attacks, next stop are the banks. But you know what? I'll talk more about that later. So, White House Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Tuesday the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency and the FBI are investigating the incident, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture is assessing the impacts on supply. So, when it comes to cybersecurity, there are a lot of what do you call it, cryptocurrency or crypto projects out there that deal with that field. Some of the ones that I can name are Certic and QuantStamp. Look into those two as they have a very big backing when it comes to partnerships, and they are going to be propped up in the near or later future when it comes to cybersecurity or cyber safety. Now, this part right here with the Infrastructure Security Agency, Janet Yellen also stated that she wanted certain funds to be allocated towards these areas like the FBI or some sort of like defense agency. So narratives like this, it does add to that because now they have more of an excuse to support her narrative. And yes, Janet Yellen is a big piece when it comes to the whole entire market, or basically the whole entire event that's happening in the global world. Now, here, read this part. JABS notified the administration that the ransom demand came from a criminal organization likely based in Russia. This whole like Russia versus US thing has been going on for like ages. They keep blaming things on Russia, and it's kind of fishy. Because I don't know, is it really them? Or maybe it is really them, but they're orchestrating both sides, Because basically, this new world order pretty much controls everyone. And yes, they control different outcomes out there because they engineered all these different events to happen. So when you think one side is losing, believe me, they're still winning. Yeah, they're just messing with your heads. All right, so yep, when it comes to Russia, I thought the next one they're going to target is basically China, or play with that whole China versus US thing as well. Because what I do see happening, guys, when it comes to the geopolitical world, I'm not really into politics as much. I do dabble into it just for fun, shits and giggles, and um I do get wrecked when it comes to like trying to talk to others about politics, but it's fun still. So this is the weird part. The United States Cattlemen's Association, an industry group, said on Twitter that it had received reports of livestock haulers who arrived at plants and were to unload animals for processing, but instead redirected to nearby yards. So, see, moves like that just basically disrupts the whole supply chain because now they're just delaying it. So, who knows what's going to happen to these cattle? It might just run away out in the field somewhere, or like maybe a wolf or a bear would just come out of nowhere and start eating it. And of course, yeah, they're not gonna care because, well, it caters towards the whole narrative of there being a food shortage supply, and that is definitely happening. It's actually been happening quite a lot. And of course, that just gives the whole idea of propping up the prices in these goods and services. So JBS accounts for almost a quarter of all meat processing in the US, and the attack has sparked concerns about the nation's supply chain at a time of rising meat prices due to a continued labor shortage at slaughterhouses around the country that began during the coronavirus pandemic. So, the way I see it, a lot of people are definitely going to lose because, well, jobs are affected, people that eat meat are affected because now their source is not only going to be expensive but also scarce. The only people that I see are benefiting from this are basically, of course, the Fed, who are orchestrating the whole entire thing. The Fed, the New World Order, blah blah blah, this and that, and the number one are the vegans. So those cows not being killed because of some cybersecurity attack or a delay in the whole processing, they are definitely winning, and of course they're gonna be rejoicing like, oh yes, the cows are saved, but that's only temporary. But yeah, anyways, so when it comes to food shortages, guys, it is definitely going to be like super massive in the upcoming months because they are definitely going to keep pushing this whole idea of food shortage supply, this whole supply chain being disrupted. Because in the end, when it comes to finding out what really happened, they are going to push things towards blockchain, where data is immutable, it cannot be changed, it cannot be erased. So if things happen in the blockchain, or yeah, things happen in the blockchain, they can basically track whoever caused the damage. Right now, the legacy system or our current systems right now are not in the blockchain yet, not fully, but we are transitioning there. So these cyber attacks are basically leading towards that. Now, also keep in mind when food shortages are low or the prices are high and the masses go hungry, believe me, they are going to rebel. When people are hungry, they get grumpy. And I'm sure you've seen that yourself, not only from your experience, but others' experience as well. Now, another thing to note about cyber attacks is that it's not just going to happen in the food supply, it's going to happen towards your banks as well. They're going to ice your banks real soon. So keep that in mind. And when they ice your banks, you're not gonna have access towards your money. And that is not a good thing. Even if it only lasts a day, it has a ripple effect that's going to affect the whole entire globe. But worst case scenario, it happens for a week, or even worse, a whole month. If all your money is in the bank and you have no access to it, how are you going to pay for stuff? How are you going to, move money around? And what do you think is happening in the background? Those banks are the ones really orchestrating these whole thing. You know, they will say, "Oh yeah, the banks got, cyber attack," but it's really them. They just want to take your money and blame Russia or somebody else about the cyber attack. That's really, the biggest criminals in the world are the banks. New World Order, this and that. But please don't quote me on that. You need to do your own research and see the different patterns occurring, because once you do your research and discover the truth for yourself, you will see that a lot of these events, or basically our reality, is just, it's an illusion because everything is orchestrated. The only real about this whole entire thing, or this world, is basically you. Nothing outside of you is real. Everything is an illusion. And I do believe that. But anyways, guys, when it comes to, yeah, supply chains, do take a look into VeChain. I think Trias in there, but Track as well. TRAC. And there's a bunch of other supply chains or logistic coins out there, or blockchain companies. So definitely do take a look into them, because they are definitely going to be used more often when it comes to, logistics, supply chain, also cybersecurity. Look into QuantStamp, Certic. Yeah, those are the only cryptocurrencies that I can name of for you guys to basically look into. Remember, this is not financial advice. So when I share certain cryptocurrency picks out there, it's for you to research, not just go gung ho on it, okay? Because I definitely do not want you to just pick one crypto out there. I want you to understand basically the new economy, where the world is heading to, and do your diligence of allocating your funds, not just in the crypto, but also the timing of when you do it. Because just because I invest on one thing and you invest on that same thing at a different time doesn't mean that you and I are in similar positions. If you're buying something at $1 and I bought it at a penny, then of course I'm going to have more massive gains because I bought it at a lower price. So yes, keep that in mind, guys. So supply chains, cybersecurity, definitely look into them, and yes, be very prepared for this, because there's going to be more of this. And that is all I have for this video. If you did enjoy this video, you enjoy my thoughts, the information presented, you think it was informative, then please just press like, of course share as well. I would appreciate that. And of course subscribe. It does help the channel grow, and it does help me get seen more. And yes, I will do my best to keep you guys updated in certain events all the time, because, well, we're we're all in this together. We got to help each other. And that is all I have. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will have more news tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care.